Hi everyone, I'm Mark Murray and welcome to this edition of CityVision, coming to you from beautiful Foster, Kentucky, site of the City of Hamilton's Meldahl hydroelectric project. This has been going on for quite some time, and I have with me today Jody Gunderson, Economic Development Director, and Tim Wardman, our Deputy City Manager, and the project manager for this particular site, Tom Liebem. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for coming.
All right, well, let's get started and talk about how Hamilton got involved with the Meldahl site down here.
In 2008, we acquired the license for the project, and in 2010, we started construction on the project. So right now, we are approximately 2/3 done with the project. We hope to be online at the end of 2014 with all 3 units.
Okay, now are we partnering with anybody on this effort?
We are. We're partners with American Municipal Power, also known as AMP. And AMP is developing this site in conjunction with us and also developing 3 other hydro sites along the Ohio River as we speak.
Wow. Now, you know, given years between the time Greenup was built and this new plant at Meldahl comes online, what are the advancements in technology that make a newer plant more efficient? Because we've owned Greenup since 1988.
We've had Greenup was finished in '82. Hamilton acquired it in '88.
Okay.
That is, the technology is very similar. These bulb turbines have been around for 100 years, this design. They used it all around the world. Greenup is about 70 megawatts. Hamilton's efficiency, or Meldahl efficiencies of these units will make 105 megawatts. So we're no stranger to hydro. We've had Greenup, since '88. So with Meldahl being online here in about another year and a half, again, same technology, just more efficient. So 70 megawatts at Greenup, 105 megawatts at Meldahl.
Okay, well, since we already have Greenup, why do we need to be involved with Meldahl?
Well, I don't know that need is the right word, but when you're talking about electricity and electric production, you have to take a long-range view. And one of the things that we try to do is have various assets, various generation assets. We've had very good experience with the Greenup site. When the Meldahl site became available, we did our best to get the license and were ultimately successful. And having a newer plant is going to be beneficial for the City of Hamilton and for its customers for many years to come.
Okay, well, Tom, what's the current status of the project? I mean, where do things stand at this point?
As I said a little earlier, we're about 2/3 complete.
Okay.
We hope to be online in 2014. Project, just to give you a little background on it, at the peak we had about 400 people working here. Right now we have about 350 people working here. When the plant's all said and done, there'll probably be about 8 operators, but it takes 400 people to build it.
Okay, and of course, safety is very key because my usually well-coiffed hair is tucked up under this hat. I've got these glasses, the vests. I mean, it all looks a little funny, but safety is paramount here.
I'm glad you said that. We take safety very seriously. Again, with that many folks working on site, that many different trades on site, safety is paramount. Everybody wears a vest, everybody wears a hard hat, glasses, appropriate shoes. I don't know how much Steve can show in the background, but guys up above are tied off with harnesses. Folks are following all the proper safety protocol.
Okay, and we're going to do a little tour here when we get done with our little question and
Good.
answer here.
Good.
So, yeah, we'd appreciate that.
Sure.
Now, how much does the project cost and who's paying for it?
Well, the project is over $500 million, and the financing is done through American Municipal Power, of which Hamilton is a founding member. And then essentially the loan, the upfront money, is paid back through purchase power agreements for the City of Hamilton and various other municipal utilities that are involved in the project.
Okay, now, but will this do anything to the rates of the average Hamilton homeowner?
Well, it's actually going to stabilize their rates for a long time to come. One of the benefits of hydropower is that there's very low fuel cost and very low fuel risk. So once the initial capital outlay is done, operation of the plant is very efficient, and we hope to have stable rates as a result of this investment.
Okay, well, Jody, I'm going to turn to you a little bit. Why is this project so important to the city?
I think, just merely from the perspective of providing consistent and reliable energy for the community and its businesses are very important for attracting and retaining companies. But not only that, though, it's more and more companies are looking at how is it that they can play a role in this new kind of green environment that we are entering into, where people are being much better corporate citizens, and for Greenup to represent and Meldahl to represent, hydroelectric energy for our companies and our residents, it becomes an attraction tool. So I think it's very important for not only our residents from the reliability side, but on the attraction side, those companies that the environment has become more and more important part of their decision making.
Now, what, I don't know who wants to take this, what convinced anyone that Hamilton, Ohio, we own all the utilities, I think our residents are pretty proud of that fact, but what convinced anybody that Hamilton could take on a project like this?
Well, I think initially, we've had 25 years of experience operating a hydro plant in Greenup, and we've had a lot of success. It's provided stable, low rates for our customers. So when this opportunity became available, I think the people that were in charge at that time made a very wise decision and invested in it.
Yeah. Now, just getting back to the construction, what are some of the more unusual obstacles that have been encountered so far on the project?
Well, like Tim had mentioned, it's a $500 million project, so that's a quite large project. So a lot of things come up. Outside project, of course, the weather. We built the first stages of this project in the wettest year on record in 2010. We were trying to dig a hole and build a cofferdam. We managed to do it, but it was a very challenging year with weather. Other than that, hydros aren't built that often in the Midwest, so getting equipment and deliveries on turbine generator components and other various components has been a challenge to make sure that our suppliers keep up with our contractors' needs. Getting the staff, the skilled workers, the boiler makers, the pipe fitters, the laborers, everybody here to do this project, it's been a challenge, but it's been a good challenge.
Well, what are some specific issues maybe related to the site itself down there? I mean, I look at a lot of activity going on.
Mm-hmm. One of the bigger things is project coordination, that you only have so much time to do so much work in the hole, we call it. The concrete is nearing about 92% complete, and now the project is turning over to the turbine generator components. So we're going from structural to mechanical. So that's it's a big change of staff. We have laborers and concrete placement folks doing the concrete work, and we have other mechanical specialties doing the turbine generator installation. And we'll have people from all over the world who specialize in commissioning operations. We've even ramped up with Hamilton, have another person on site here as well, Dennis Rourke, who will be working with me to get the plant up and running.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now, and I just want to step back a little bit. You said the term cofferdam. Mm-hmm. What is that? What does that mean? Well,
when we get done, I'll show you the overall picture, but there's a hole we dig. The excavation is the hole. The cofferdam is the temporary earthen structure that we're standing on. This is designed to keep the water out in a flooding event. Unfortunately, if we had a flooding event, we could have to flood the hole, which will hopefully not happen, to stabilize, equalize out the water in the river.
Yeah, that'd be a bad day.
That would be a bad day.
Yeah. Okay, because eventually, I guess, when this goes away, you've got river running through those turbines down there.
We do. You had on the operations of it, we're what they call run-of-river hydro. So the water that the Corps of Engineers does not need to maintain 95 miles of river. Tim mentioned about Greenup. Greenup is the next lock and dam 95 miles upriver, so proximity is perfect. Hamilton will own Greenup. We own Greenup. We'll also have Meldahl, so we'll have the two locks and dams in proximity. But the water that the Corps of Engineers does not need, we'll make power out of that water. And we'll use that same water at Greenup. We use the same water at Meldahl. They'll use it at Markland. So you don't wear it out. You don't wear out the fuel. That's our fuel.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, how much water flows through one of these turbines?
These are about 20,000 CFS per turbine, so about 60,000 CFS when all turbines are running. We use the water. Cubic feet per second.
Okay.
CFS. We use the same water again that they use for the lock and dam that we use to make the power.
Okay. Now, from here, I know you're going to give us a tour, but we're up pretty high, looking down at the site. How much of the powerhouse is going to be visible above ground?
Right above the top deck, which is not the beam across the top, but the top deck is 5 foot above the river level.
Okay, and so we can pretty much see the top deck from here then behind us.
That's 490, the river's 485. To not adversely affect anything upstream, the powerhouse is designed to be topped in a flooding event. So there is such thing as too much water. We need the differential between the upper pool and the lower pool to make the power. So as the lower pool comes up and the tailwater, we call it, as it increases, we would make less power. We have 50 years of data. The lock and dam were finished in '62, so we have 50 years of data to use to predict how much power we'll make and when.
Interesting,
Yeah.
fascinating. Well, I was going to say that's about all the questions I've got. What I'd like to do is to give our viewers a tour of the site. So can we do that?
Absolutely.
All right, great. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and begin our tour. And Tom, tell us what we're looking at here.
Well, what we're looking at here is the powerhouse. Steve is panning on it right now. There's 3 units from the right to the left, units 1, 2, and 3. Each is 35 megawatts of power. Give you a size, description on the size of the powerhouse. That's about 200 feet wide. It's about 268 feet deep. And each unit, again, is 35 megawatts. The overhead crane you see at the top, which is the stationary piece, the girder, that'll be a powerhouse crane. The blue cranes, the red cranes, all of that will come down after the powerhouse is constructed.
Okay, where to next?
Let's take a tour around the perimeter of the cofferdam.
And Tom, we know we're down here at the Meldahl hydroelectric project, but of course, the Meldahl Dam's been here for how many years?
It's been complete since 1962. So the dam that we're showing now is 12 gates. Upriver is 95 miles of water. The Greenup Lock and Dam, which Hamilton also owns, is the next lock and dam upriver. This river elevation is elevation 485. Our powerhouse top elevation is 490. So the elevation of the powerhouse is 5 foot higher than the river level. The lower pool is 30 foot below. So that differential in water elevation is what makes our power.
Okay, very cool. All right, Tom, you were talking about water levels. I noticed we're higher on this side of the river than on the other side of the dam. How does that make this work?
Well, the differential in water elevations is typically 30 feet. That's what makes a turbine, the difference in elevation from one end to the other. The same water that's shown here in front of the lock and dam, behind us here, this will also be that same elevation when the project's completed. It'll be 485 on the side that Steve's showing right now. It'll be 455 on the downstream end, which is below the weir.
And the weir being?
The piece of concrete structure that's been there for 50 years.
Which is really just an extension of the dam?
Yes, that's right.
The existing dam?
Exactly
okay.
right. Mark, the lower pool will be the back side, the upper pool will be the left side. So if you're looking at the powerhouse right now, to your left is the upper pool. The elevation will be 485. All the machinery you see working down there in the hole, the trucks, the equipment, the men, where all those people are, that'll all be underwater when the project's completed. The water level will be 5 foot below the roof deck of the powerhouse. At the far west end, that'll also be excavated out, and that water level will be 30 foot below what it will be on the left.
All right, Tom, now we're still on the riverside of the project.
Yes.
And I guess on the eastern side?
This is the western side.
The western side. And you had mentioned something about like recreation that we're doing here, so tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, we're sitting right now on the west side of the project. Cincinnati is about 35 river miles behind Mark here. Part of the FERC license agreement, we have to build a recreation area for the project as well, so there'll be a fishing pier, a restroom, a parking lot, lights, that sort of thing. That'll be in this area right here. There's a sandbar that'll be accessible to the public, and a fishing pier, as I said earlier, that'll be put right out into the river, about halfway between here and the sandbar.
All right, Tom, we're going to get a little technical, I guess.
Okay.
You're telling me that all the concrete's made on site, but you have to inject liquid nitrogen.
The concrete is batched on site,
Okay.
over 100,000 yards, so a lot of concrete. In the background, you see a concrete truck, white smoke coming out of the back of the hopper. That's liquid nitrogen put in. The concrete is placed no warmer than 55 degrees. So they have to cool the concrete. It's mass concrete. What you see there is liquid nitrogen being injected into the back of the truck. That same concrete truck will then travel down to the powerhouse and place the concrete.
All right,
We're
and
panning
as
now.
we now look at this, we're looking at the back of the project.
Yes,
This is where all the water is going to rush through the turbines,
yes, 30.
generate electricity.
That's right. 30 foot lower than it is on the opposite side. 485 is elevation on the upper pool, 455 on the lower pool, so the water will be coming out about where those gentlemen are climbing on that stair tower, about elevation 485, so about 30 feet or so down from the top of the powerhouse, or 455, I'm sorry, is where the water will be coming out. It'll be exiting the powerhouse, units 1, 2, and 3 respectively. There'll be a bulb turbine, there'll be a large blade, a runner hub that you'll see once when it's watered up, then that's probably the last time we'll see it. However, there are bulkhead slots. You asked, get technical a little bit. Bulkhead slots where the green lift and the man is working on unit number 1. That's designed to have bulkheads inserted so the units can be dewatered for maintenance.
Okay. Well, all I can keep saying is that this is just amazing.
And perspective-wise, if you look at the size of a 6-foot tall man down there, it gives you a perspective just how big that really is.
Absolutely. It's fascinating.
Thank you.
Now, Tom, what is this?
It's one of our transmission pole bases.
That's the base for a pole.
That's 9-foot diameter, 70-foot deep. It's all concrete. A 110-foot tall pole will stand on top of this.
That was my next question. How tall?
It'll come off the powerhouse to right here. There's another pole base by our trailer complex where you came in this morning to a river tower crossing and on into Ohio.
Wow. And we're back from our tour. I certainly want to thank Tom Liebem for giving that to us, and really want to thank Jody and Tim as well for coming on down here. We've got a beautiful day down here in Foster, Kentucky, and really enjoyed the time here. But gentlemen, you know, usually what I do is I close every show and offer you the opportunity to give any final thoughts. I mean, this is just such a cool project to be a part of. Jody, I'll start with you. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago I was at a Public Utility Commission meeting, and one of the members made a comment that I thought was quite striking, in that he said that some of the decisions that were made as it relates to infrastructure is really paying a dividend for you as an economic developer now. And I said, you know, that's a very good point, that I am the beneficiary of some very wise decisions that were made. I would say to the group today that there are going to be time in the future where people are going to look back at this project and say, this was a very good decision that was made, and it's been paying dividends for quite some time.
Tim, what about you?
Well, just to kind of echo what Jody said, this is a huge project, probably one of the largest projects that's been undertaken by the city of Hamilton in its history. And it's going to pay dividends for the citizens of Hamilton and its customers of the utilities for years to come. So it's great that we could come down and take a look at it while it's under construction, and hopefully you'll see the benefit from it for the next 50 to 100 years.
Well, Tom, it's got to be a pretty special project to be a part of.
It is. I'm glad Tim mentioned the longevity. I mean, 100 years for hydro is not unheard of by any means, so this project will be here long after I'm gone. I'm very thrilled that you took the time, and Jody and Tim as well, and TV Hamilton, to come out and look at it today. It's something that I think we should show off. It's not just a big project for the city, it's a big project for everybody working here. We have guys that are from all over the country that come here and visit the project that are just amazed at what we're doing here. So it's a huge project for us and for everyone involved.
Yeah, no, I was glad we were able to take the opportunity. I want to thank you all. And of course, I want to thank you at home for watching TV Hamilton, hometown television with a personal touch. From all of us here at CityVision, I'm Mark Murray. Thanks for watching.